ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦਿਸ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਆਫ ਦਾ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸ਼ੋ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਵਾਉਣ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਕੈਨ ਚਾਰਕੋ ਨਾਲ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਨਾਮਵਰ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਮੈਨ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟੈਕਸ ਚੇਂਜਸ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਇਹ ਕਾਫੀ ਚਿੰਤਿਤ ਨੇ, ਡਾਕਟਰਸ ਹੋਣ ਜਾਂ ਸਮਾਲ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਮੈਨ। ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਵਰਗ ਦੇ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਈ ਜਾਏ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕੀ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਇੱਕ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਮੈਨ ਜੋ ਹੈਗਾ ਬੜੀ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜੌਬਸ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਰਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਸਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟਸ ਮਿਲਣ। ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਵਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਏ ਤਾਂ ਕੀ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਸਮਾਲ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਮੈਨ, ਔਰ ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਣੇ ਆ ਕੈਨ ਚਾਰਕੋ। Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
So
the
Ken,
opportunity.
it's a pleasure having you here. We know you run a lot of businesses and you have been awarded many awards also and also nominated for many things. So tell us a little bit about yourself first, as to how many businesses you run, and as a small businessman, what is your motto?
We run a number of different businesses, all the way from our most notable one, which is the movie theater, Dunbar Theater,
okay,
to an investment company that includes various real estate holdings. To we had a number of retail outlets. Back in 2009, 2008, right before the Great Depression, we used to have about 20 different locations and 250 employees. We've since reduced that,
right,
and we now do consulting for small businesses. We do the books for small business, and we keep a core holding within our investment portfolio. So we stocks, bonds, and also small businesses like plumbers, electricians, and stuff like that. So we help them and advise them.
Wonderful. You know, all businessmen who work, their main intention is to create jobs, but along with that, you also give back to the society, and also you have been recognized a lot of times. Tell us a little bit about that, as to where all you have been recognized.
Thank you. Yeah, won the Business of the Year for Chamber of Commerce in Vancouver.
Okay.
That was very exciting. You know, we won it because, not necessarily because we were the biggest business, but we were the most community active business,
right,
at the time. The founder of Lululemon was the person that presented us with the award, so that was Chip, which was very good. We've also been, I think one of the local papers said that I was one of the top 3 entrepreneurs for the city of Vancouver, right behind Jimmy Pattison, and I met him shortly after that at an award the mayor had nominated me for, which was the Environmental Innovator Award.
Right.
And he won that award. I didn't, but that was very, very good of him to be able to do. So we've been involved in the community and doing things on the small business side. So
and for cultural diversity also you have been recognized.
That's right. Back in 2008, when our company was much larger,
right,
the Trinjan Society out here in Surrey awarded us for the Cultural Diversity Award within the workplace.
Okay.
Which we had not by design, but by we wanted the best, most dynamic,
right,
company we had, and it just happens that that's what we had, is a good diversity within our company, and I was proud of that.
But whatever business you do, of course, if you have some incentives, then only you can put all your heart into it.
That's right.
Of late, what we have been hearing, and today we are focusing on a businessman like you to tell us, the federal government is trying to bring about some changes in the tax laws. Why are you concerned about it, and how is it going to impact you?
A couple of reasons that I'm concerned about it is that, like everyone else in this country, I went through the last election and I listened to all the policies of all the government agencies, and I cannot remember the Liberals running on a policy where they were going to do a massive change to what's been tax policy for the last 40 years.
Right.
They weren't going to change the fundamental way that the governments, including Liberal previous governments, have encouraged doctors, farmers to go to be able to make the maximum benefit in there. So they've made an investment,
right,
based upon what they did. They had an election, they said, vote for us because we're going to do this, and then they come and do something else. So that's wrong to be able to do it in such a short thing.
Right.
Now, if they want to change it, that's good, but they should have told us beforehand that they are.
Right.
And there's some changes. Number 2 is it seems to be they're doing these changes in a star chamber type of method. They haven't rolled them out appropriately by doing lots of consultations with the various groups, looking for amendments. The Chamber of Commerce, Beatty, the president of the Chamber of Commerce, has come out and he represents a lot of small businesses, saying that this is going to be devastating,
right,
to a number of small businesses.
Right.
How do you do this? How do you, 10, 20 years ago, suggest to doctors, for example, this is how you should do it. Incorporate your business, so this will be your effective tax rate. And then after they invest in the real estate, after they invest in the training of the people,
right,
how do you then say that we're going to change the business model?
Right.
So what the government is doing, the federal government is doing really quickly, is they're going to change the burden of getting good doctors here from the federal level at the tax level. Those doctors are now going to go to the provincial level and say, great, we no longer can work on $32 a visit. We're going to go to $40 a visit. So that's going to shift the tax burden to the provinces without consulting them.
Right.
Or those doctors that are highly educated, that are very specialist, that have huge waiting lists, are going to go down to the states where even at this tax rate, they're going to be able to get less, and they're trying to attract them.
Right.
So when you say this, when you say, the government says we want to be able to reduce the waiting list, when we want to be able to encourage small business because we grow the economy,
Right.
when we want to be able to have those professionals, those engineers, those knowledge professionals coming up here, how do you do that when you fundamentally change the arrangement that we've had?
Right.
And you increase it. And the one thing that I would say, just as in relation to doctors, for the last 30 years, we've had a net migration of doctors outside of Canada.
Right.
That's led to increased waiting lists. Now, within the last 5 years, it peaked at the end of the Harper period, is we start to get a net influx of doctors. So how do you do this?
Right.
How do you say we're going to improve medical, we're going to decrease the wait list,
Right.
we're going to have better surgeries by that, by effectively reducing their salary, their take-home pay
Right.
dramatically? No. And I'm sorry I get all excited about this or whatever.
Right.
I understand what they do is they'll stand up and Bill will say, listen, there's some people that do this, there's some people that do that. They'll have like 4 of their kids on the payroll, and they'll do that. And in the same vote, they'll say, but the vast majority do not do that.
Right.
So why not don't allow the 1 or the 2% that may cheat the system,
Right.
change the code so you can't do that, but allow the vast majority of it that are appropriate and are good within the system.
Wonderful. Thanks for laying the bed for this consultation, this discussion. We'll go for a short break. We'll come back. And then as a businessman, of course, you have pointed out all these factors which are going to impact you. But as a businessman also, the tax changes, what they will bring, how they will impact the small businessmen also. We'll talk about this after this short break. ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਵਿੱਚ 1990 ਤੋਂ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈਸਾ ਡਰਾਈਵਿੰਗ ਸਕੂਲ ਹੁਣ ਲੋਅਰ ਮੇਨਲੈਂਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਪ੍ਰਦਾਨ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। 28 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਰੱਖਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਹੈਸਾ ਡਰਾਈਵਿੰਗ ਸਕੂਲ ਟੀਮ ਤੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਗੱਡੀ ਚਲਾਉਣੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸੇਫ ਤੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਡਰਾਈਵਿੰਗ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਕੁਆਲੀਫਾਈਡ ਇੰਸਟ੍ਰਕਟਰਸ ਤੋਂ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲਓ। ਔਰਤਾਂ ਲਈ ਖਾਸ ਵਿਮਨ ਇੰਸਟ੍ਰਕਟਰ ਹਨ ਤੇ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ 1-on-1 ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਆਸਾਨੀ ਨਾਲ ਲਾਇਸੈਂਸ ਲੈਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਸੁਖਿੰਦਰ ਗੋਸਲ 6042208094 604 220 8094। Once again, welcome back to the program. Ken Charko, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਮੈਨ ਨੇ, ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟੈਕਸ ਚੇਂਜਸ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਉਸ ਨਾਲ ਕੀ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਮੈਨ ਨੂੰ ਅਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਡਾਕਟਰਸ ਅਤੇ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਨੂੰ। ਆਓ ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈ ਲੈਂਦੇ। So before the break, you were talking about that this government, what changes, proposed changes they are trying to bring, they had not brought this under their agenda when they fought the elections. As far as the consultations are concerned, the government is claiming that yes, we are sending our MPs and they are talking about consultations and all that. But are you not satisfied with those consultations? And secondly, are they going to listen? Because a few days back, the Prime Minister, when the reporters were asking him as to whether you plan to think about what the people are saying, and he said openly that no, we have already decided that we are going ahead with this. So as a businessman, when this kind of environment is there, what do you feel as a businessman? Do consultations matter, or is just mere eyewash?
I think about, this is what I think about it. For a prime minister to go there and say, I'm going to consult with anyone, but whatever they say, I'm going to go through with them, I have a problem. For me, as someone who's from Vancouver, it reminds me of when the bike lanes first started, and they had the consultation with all the businesses whether or not they were going to go.
Right.
And then after it ended at 10 o'clock at night, 6 a.m. the next morning, they'd all gone through. So why have the consultations?
Right.
So that's my thing. So there is no consultations if they're going to push it through no matter what. And that's a problem.
Right.
But we have to look at what they're trying to do.
Right,
all
absolutely.
There's 3 types of things that they're trying to be able to deal with here.
Okay.
As we understand. Keep in mind, we haven't seen the final text. Now, what they know inside caucus, and they know more than we know, is we do know that there's a Liberal that says that he's not going to vote with it up from the Yukon. He's not going to vote with it. So he's separating from the government. That tells me that there's big inside the Liberal Party itself, they're unhappy
Right.
with the rollout and in the contents of what they have. Someone within the Finance Committee
Oh, yeah.
on the Liberals has come out and said that the rollout was a gong show.
The chair is saying
Yeah,
that,
the chair, exactly.
yeah.
He's saying that's a gong show. Whatever.
Right.
So this is very problem. So here's the three things that I'd like your audience to be able to understand.
Right.
They're targeting passive income, or what they're now calling sprinkling of income.
Right.
All right. And that's what happens when family members are also get income.
Right.
And they'll highlight in their press release, they'll have this doctor that'll have his wife on the payroll. Why does she have to be on the payroll? She does nothing with it. Well, first off, I'm a small business guy. The family members are always involved. You don't leave the business at home. That's different from an entrepreneurial thing.
Right.
You bring it there. The wife, she probably goes through the book. She's there. So there is some involvement in there. But how do you go to the farmer?
Right.
All right. I'm not a farmer, but I do know uncles that were farmers, and I had that opportunity. And I can tell you, even as a nephew, when I visited the farm, I was up at 6 a.m. doing whatever I could do.
Helping them out.
Exactly. Did I get WCB? Did I get the no? But you help them out, and that's what you do.
Right.
So to say that they can sprinkle that, spread that income out is wrong. All right. And what it does is by taking that away,
Right.
it takes the advantage, or as I call it, the neutrality of the tax code away from the individual farmer
Right.
and puts it to the collective. So you take 1,000 acres where you have family members, friends that come and help you, and you spread the income out over that way, and you get the advantage to 20,000 acres.
Right.
And I think most Canadians didn't hear that in any of the election talk that we had or whatever. The next thing is in relation to passive income.
Okay.
All right. So let's and then the third thing is about converting income into capital gains.
Okay.
All right. There's 3 sections to that.
Right.
And what we've been able to get out of it is the following from all the documents that I've been able to read right now, is that the sprinkling of the income is the smallest portion of it. It's the
Right.
smallest portion of the tax. They figure it's going to be about $260 million of extra revenue from the government.
Right.
They expect much more income streams from the passive income inside that people are pulling within their corporations.
Right.
So we don't know the end figure. So it's somewhere between $250 million in more taxes,
Okay.
or as high as $2 to $3 billion in more taxes.
Right.
Keeping in mind, this is coming from the middle
Right.
income people that it's coming from, that fund everything. So as I recall, in the last election again, is that everything was for the middle income people.
Right.
These are the people that employ. These are the people that innovate. These are the people that feed. These
Right.
are the people that serve. There is no one I know, and no one that's watching your TV program today,
Right.
that's going to go to a doctor and said, I want a doctor that makes very little money.
Of course.
We want the best.
Best service.
At best.
Right.
Now, there's multiple ways of getting that, and
Right.
part of that way is to make sure that they're compensated, that their colleagues are compensated in other provinces and within the states.
Right.
So if you bring them down, one of two things will happen: is you will get less quality doctors,
Right.
or you'll have longer wait lists.
Right.
The third thing is that you transfer that into higher medical costs at the provincial level.
When the talk was about helping the middle class, but now again the middle class is being targeted because most of the small businessmen belong to that category.
That's right.
So that's what is very surprising. So towards the end, what would you say to those people who are watching this program today, who are businessmen, who are doctors, who are farmers? What can they do now to make this government feel that we are not ready for this?
Number one thing that they have to do to help this government is call their MPs.
Right.
Call their local MPs. Understand, this is what small business people are. They're the gas station.
Right.
Keep in mind, in Vancouver, we have no gas stations in the downtown core anymore.
Right.
They're the doctors. Everyone out here is trying to find a doctor and be able to get it. It's the surgeons.
Right.
It's the farmers in the LRB. These farmers, see, we have a disadvantage in Canada. We don't have cheap Mexican laborers coming up there.
Absolutely.
What we have is inexpensive family members.
Right.
And that's the trade-off that we have. So we are going to lose. None of this helps those things. if we want locally produced products that's environmentally sensitive to how we do it, if we want to be able to have our local shops owned locally instead of nationally and globally, we need to encourage this, because large companies start as small companies, incubating companies, and this is what it does. So what it does more than anything else is it sets uncertainty.
Right.
And uncertainty within the business community is the number one thing. And this government should not pay for their massive tax deficits via the back of the middle class independent entrepreneur.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for this perspective, because that's what people are concerned right now, and you have really brought this out, tailored it out. Thank you very much for being here, and in future, as things sort out, we'll have you again and we'll talk in details. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, and I'm always available. Thank you.